And we are back. Welcome to my preview and predictions for the Championship playoff semi-final second legs. The EFL are dragging this out all week, so I'm going to drag this out all week. Today will be Championship, tomorrow League One, and Wednesday League Two. But before we get into it, you guys have been constantly requesting me to do Championship predictions, and if you look at your top of your screen, that's why I don't do Championship predictions. It is just too difficult to call in the EFL. There is so little to choose between these sides. I got 1 out of my 6 playoff first leg predictions correct. However, bizarrely, the one I got correct, I got spot on, which is why the playoff results are 1. But yeah, look, we've got a lot to talk about across these 2 matches today. So before we get into it, if you haven't done so already, please do consider dropping a like on this video if you do enjoy all of these prediction series, and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here so you don't miss out on my remaining playoff predictions, and of course including the playoff finals as well. And we still have the FA Cup final coming for you this week and a couple of weeks of Premier League predictions to come as well before we head off into the summer with the Women's and the Club World Cup. But without any further ado, let's get straight into it. The opening game of the Championship playoff semi-final second legs takes place tonight, and it is between Sheffield United and Bristol City. And well, this first leg had non-stop controversy throughout. Firstly, Sheffield United had a goal ruled out for offside for a player on the goal line in an offside position, preventing a Bristol City player from clearing it. For me, bit harsh, but at least I can understand why it was given. Then, of course, the big moment of controversy, which has had its say on basically the destination of this tie. Kiefer Moore, clean through on goal, brought down by Dickey in the box, penalty and a straight red card. Now, I think this is so harsh because the rule states that for it to be a straight red card and a penalty, there has to be no clear attempt to play the ball. Now, I understand that the foul is for the hand on the shoulder, but by putting the hand on the shoulder, it allows Dickey to wrap his leg round and take the ball. I'm not saying it's not a foul. I am saying that Kiefer Moore, at whatever, 6'4", whatever he is, should never be going down over a touch on the shoulder. It's so obvious he's desperate to win a penalty rather than just score a goal. But to say that he's not trying to play the ball when he's literally using Kiefer Moore's shoulder to swing his body round to make the tackle, I think is an absolutely appalling decision. Like I say, I'm not even fully convinced it's a foul in the first place, but I can accept that it's a foul. For it to be given as a red card, I think is an absolute disgrace and just shows the standard of refereeing that we have below the Premier League. And we know how bad the Premier League refs are. But to think that in a massive game, after a 44, 46 game season, to have that sort of decision go against you in the first leg of a playoff semi-final, to the extent that the penalty is scored and then Sheffield United go on to win that first leg 3-0 because you've got 10 men, you've now got to go to Sheffield United and try and overturn a 3-goal deficit when you already finished 21 points behind them in the league. Like, that decision has killed the tie. That decision has completely killed the tie, and I just think essentially, it has ruined the context of this entire match. It's ruined the first leg. It's also ruined the second leg because, let's be realistic, Bristol City don't come back from 3-0 down. You want an early prediction before I put it on the screen. Bristol City aren't coming back from 3-0 down. Sheffield United are going to Wembley to compete against one of the other 2 teams in the playoff final. And I do feel sorry for Bristol City because I just don't think that's a red card. And look, they could have done their jobs better with 10 men, but you're against the side that finished 3rd. And they concede 2 more goals. What that means coming into this leg is that Bristol City just simply have to go for it. The good news is for both sides is that there were no fresh injury concerns across it. Obviously, Dickey will now be suspended for Bristol City for this second leg. He's going to be the only absentee from the first leg. But, I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? It just doesn't matter what happens in this game today. Sheffield United are going to progress. I think what they'll do is they'll probably just sit in, hold on to their 3-goal lead. I could definitely see this being 0-0, but I think what's probably most likely is as Bristol City go for it, Sheffield United have 1 or 2 counter-attacks, maybe score 1 or 2 goals here or there. Obviously, like I said, they finished 3rd by 21 points over Bristol City anyway. I think most people would have expected Sheffield United to win this second leg regardless. I'm going to go for them to win it, but I'm just going to go for a simple 1-0. I just think the tie's over. I don't know how Bristol City can pick themselves up and do anything from it, but let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you think I'm being crazy, if you think it's a definite red card, please let me know down in the comment section below. But for me, an incredibly harsh decision there. As for the other game that will be taking place tomorrow between Sunderland and Coventry City, there was nothing controversial about the goals that Coventry conceded and the goals that Sunderland scored. They were just absolutely horrendous mistakes from the Coventry players. And let's not forget, I said coming into this game, Sunderland had lost their last 5 matches coming into these playoffs, and they've come away with a 2-1 victory. That is the Championship for you. That's why it's so hard to predict. And especially when you consider the fact that Coventry, if you look at the stats, were the better team. 74% possession, more shots, higher XG. They played the better football. But you cannot afford to make mistakes at this level, and it's mistakes that were made. Firstly, the first goal from Sunderland, where Coventry's defence sort of like half of them try to play the offside trap, the other half of them aren't really concentrating. Ball gets put in behind, and once he's in behind, it's just a simple, well, I say simple, Isidore gets in that position in the wide area, he opens his body up, the keeper knows what he's going to do, he shoots it at that far corner, and the keeper gets there, and just parries it into his own net. That's what I mean about mistakes. It's a mistake with the offside line. It's an even bigger mistake from the goalkeeper. No mistakes about the equaliser for Coventry, though. Ball in from Van Erwijk, headed in by Rudoni. I think it was something like 75 seconds after the kickoff, so fair play for them for that. But the provider turned the provider once again, but this time for the other team, as Van Erwijk looked up, saw where his goalkeeper was, saw where Mayenda was, and still decided, with 2 minutes left on the clock, to try and pass it back to his goalkeeper, as Mayenda was already trying to intercept the pass. He gives it away, Mayenda gets the ball, great composure, round the goalkeeper, puts it in the back of the net, and Sunderland take a 2-1 lead back to the second leg and have surely got a very good position here to progress to the final at Wembley. Let's not forget, though, what I did just say. Coventry on the stats, and certainly from the highlights that I saw, were the better side in the match. So they're definitely well in this game. And don't forget that earlier on this season, Coventry did draw 2-2 at Sunderland. That result would be enough for Sunderland to get to Wembley from this position. I just think it all comes down to what tactics the Sunderland manager deploys here. If they play the same way they did in the first leg, sit back, look for the counter-attacks, I think that's actually the smarter approach here. I think it'd be a mistake to go, we're 2-1 up, we're now at home, let's press the advantage and go for the victory, because I think that could leave them vulnerable to Coventry getting the goals that they need. It's been proven in the first leg that if they sit back and counter, they can create the chances and score the goals they need to get through. I think it's going to be a very, very close one. I know it's an old football cliche, but for me, the first goal in this match will determine where this goes. I think if Sunderland get it and go 3-1 up, the game's over. If Coventry get it and make it 2-2, I think we're in for a hell of a second leg. Ultimately, I think all 3 results are possible here. So as always in this position, I'm going to decide not to split them. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw for Sunderland and Coventry, which will see Sheffield United and Sunderland compete at Wembley next week. Incredibly boring, I know, 3rd against 4th, but that's just the way the playoff system works sometimes. As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Thank you very much for watching. We'll do this all over again tomorrow for League One. I'll see you there.